Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Mari's Golden Hour. Yeah, don't stop. Get it, don't stop. Thank you so much for hanging out and joining me. I had a productive week, and I came close to petering out towards the end, but I was able to maintain the same energy. And I hope your week was as productive, if not very relaxing and contemplative. All of that. I listened to a lot of music. I went back into my listening to indie radio, and I was trying to hop back on that train of checking out other podcasts. And yeah, that was pretty much my week. Just working, listening to music, and podcasting. Yep. So one of the podcasts that I checked out, it's everybody's favorite, which is Joe Rogan. So I checked out a couple of episodes, and one that stood out was with Andrew Schultz, and he had mentioned, he didn't mention the line in this one. It's actually Andrew Schultz's podcast that he does with this other guy named Akash, and not the one that he does with Charlemagne, although I do enjoy the one that he does with Charlemagne, Brilliant Idiots. But this one is Flagrant 2, and there was a quote, and I wish I could remember the episode, but he said that the truth never ages. And both of them were just talking about things that had happened to people in the past and how some of that will come up later on. And if it is the truth never ages. And one of the other guys that helps produce it said, oh, well, the truth is black. So, I don't know. That one got kind of deep. Maybe it's not that deep for other people, but I kind of dug it. And so anyway, getting back to the JRE, one of the things that they talked about was, I don't know how they got on the subject, but I think they were talking about anti-Semitism or the Nazis. They went down this particular path, and Joe brought up Hogan's Heroes, and he mentioned how Hogan's Heroes was on in the 70s, which was approximately 20 years after the war. World War II, that is, if anybody's wondering. So he was comparing that to now, and like making a sitcom like Hogan's Heroes, but now. And, he brought up the example of them doing, or not them, but like anybody making a sitcom about 9/11, but now. And it's roughly the same amount of time, which when they mentioned that, it's like, wow, really? 9/11? It happened that long ago? But I don't know if they were using 9/11 as like the biggest thing that we've had that they could make a sitcom out of, or they were using that as an example because Hogan's Heroes, that was a sitcom about Nazi Germany. And back then, Hogan was saying that that's a testament to people letting things go. And I'm not too sure if people can let things go as easily now as they were then. And on top of it, I'm not so sure that it's easy to let a lot of things go. Or, well, I don't want to say a lot, but maybe certain things go. Like, for example, an article I read about this actress who had a black actress who had a stunt double who was in blackface. And which that is just boggles. And, like, they didn't have women of color who were stunt doubles or who could possibly pass as a stunt double, but no, they had to put somebody in blackface. And I was thinking about that, and it was similar to some of my own struggles that I've had, be it in production or in front of a camera. Yeah, still goes on, because the last instance I can remember, that was about a year ago. Actually, no, a little bit less than that. A little less than a year ago. It was like mere months ago. Pre-pandemic, but not too much before. So, anyway, what else did I come across? Oh, Johnnie Walker whiskey. They are planning to actually do away with the glass bottles and sell them out of paper. The company that owns it, which I believe is called, I don't know if it's Diageo or Diageo. I don't know how you pronounce that. Diageo. Diageo. I don't know. I'm going to pronounce it Diageo. Well, they are planning on doing a trial run of the paper bottles next spring, 2021. And they're planning on making it from wood pulp, and it would be completely recyclable. And this is just their way on cutting down the pollution, and it'll be sustainable. And they do not plan on putting a plastic coating inside, which most of the things that they do say are paper or recyclable, they have a plastic coating that is not fully recyclable because they use that plastic in order to keep the liquid that's inside from draining through. So getting on to the indie radio kick, I was listening to the DJ was doing like a station ID, and the DJ said, well, speaking of neo soul, because he was playing a lot of, I guess, neo soul artists, and so he said, speaking of neo soul, and then proceeded to play a song that he introduced by John Mayer, or I'm sorry, not John Mayer, Mayer Hawthorne, sorry. And the song itself was familiar, and was a nice little ditty. That's a pretty decent song. Can't remember the name of it, but it was something that was very familiar, and if I were to play it to you or tell you the song title, you would instantly know the song. However, I would never, ever, ever mistake this particular song as neo soul at all whatsoever. Not at all. It's as if I were to say, and now for our next neo soul artist, it's coming straight from Dave Matthews. Which Dave Matthews is so not neo soul. This song is similar. Not saying it's a Dave Matthews song, but it's of that. It's kind of boppy. It's more boppy, but not neo soul. And so, out of curiosity, I looked up the artist because I never really researched Mayer Hawthorne, and so looked him up really quick, just doing a very, very general search. And there is nothing neo soul about this guy at all. Not saying that white people cannot sing in different genres. There's plenty of artists that are like Tina Marie. Tina Marie, she can sing her pipes off, and she is R&B. Dora Hall and John Oates, another duo that, they've had some crossover hits as well. But Mayer Hawthorne, I'm not seeing it, especially based off of that one song. Let's see. Oh, there was this truck that I ended up passing one day, and it had that advertisement. I think it was a warehouse truck, and they were advertising something called Screwball, but it was a peanut butter whiskey. I don't know if it's good, if it's not, but it reminded me of this whiskey, and I'm pretty sure it's the same brand. I don't know if it's the same flavor. I don't think so. That my mechanic, or one of my mechanics, was telling me about that somebody gave him, and so he ended up trying like a couple of those airplane bottles and loved it so much he ended up getting a couple of huge bottles of it. But he mentioned to me that it was more like a caramel flavor, so I don't know if this is the same brand. I think it is, and maybe they have a bunch of different flavors of whiskey. I don't know, but do plan to investigate this one. Okay, back to indie radio. So there's this program called World Cafe that's on an indie radio station, and when the DJ was interviewing Willie Nelson, and he was promoting his latest album, which is called First Rose of Spring, which is his 70th, like 70th record. This man, wow, 70 records. 70. That's a lot. But anyway, so there are some lines that are from the very songs that they played during the segment, and they just stood out and gave me pause. So a few of them that I really liked was, one of them, he wrote a love song, and it's called Love Just Laugh. And the line is, love does what it wants. And boy, doesn't it. Another song that I liked is We Are the Cowboys. And the line that's in that song is, we pick our words so we don't have to eat them. Love it. And then this one, I think it's one of my favorites. It is from a song called Don't Let the Old Man In. And the line is, ask yourself how old you'd be if you didn't know the day you were born. How deep is that? And it's interesting. How old would you be if you didn't know the day you were born? Just ask yourself that. I'm putting that out there. Let's see, another song I came across listening to a different indie radio station. I don't know if they played just one song or if they played more, but Gil Scott-Heron, wow, the song is called Pieces of Man, and it is a great song. Like, it is just powerful and deep, but really, any and all Gil Scott-Heron songs are going to be really good. The melody is always good, and lyrically, they are fantastic. So if you have never heard of Gil Scott-Heron, please check him out. You will not regret it. There was a band that I missed the name, and the name that I was able to catch, it was actually for a song that was coming up. So I hate not knowing where this line came from, but the line that I heard when I was listening to the song was, I'm too young to understand, I'm too old to give a damn. And then I think it's in the same song, possibly a different song, but of the same band, is Sometimes Love Takes Too Long. And I'm not going to go and expand on that, but just let all that stuff marinate. Let's see. Lastly, but for sure not the least in any sort of way, I heard an interview on the same a different indie radio station with Run the Jewels, and they were being interviewed. If you are not aware of Run the Jewels, Killer Mike and LP are the duo that are behind that, and they were playing their new album, RTJ4, and it is good. It is really, really good. They have a lot of guest artists on there, like Mavis Staples, Zach De La Rocha. I'm sorry, I always pronounce his name incorrect. Zach De La Roche. Yeah, not De La Rocha. Or is it De La Rocha? Oh man, I am such a bad music head. That's really, really bad that I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Or at least it's just escaping my mind right now. But anyway, Rage Against the Machine. That's how you know him. Pharrell's on there and more artists, and there are a lot of hits on there, and like they're relevant. Like it is, sadly, it's very relevant. And they finished this album, I think, sometime in 2019 and released it late spring or early summer, and there's a track or two that's kind of prophetic, and again, it's just sadly relevant. Let's see what else. Oh, it was in Costco again, and there weren't as many hot dudes in there this time around, but it was also in a completely different location where there just is not as many hot dudes there, and I was a little surprised because I thought there kind of would be, again, due to the location, but it's weird. It's in a location where there should be hot dudes, but there's also not a high population of hot dudes to be had out there. It's weird. But while I was in there, so there's this older white gentleman who was wearing a t-shirt, and it had Houdini on it, like the rap group Houdini. Like, it looked like the font might have been the same, and I mean, I don't know if there's any other Houdini out there, or if it's supposed to be some sort of a brand, but I mean, there was nothing on the back of the t-shirt. It just said Houdini on the front. And to me, that is like the rap band, like Houdini, like, what were their hits? Friends. How many of us have been? The Freaks Come Out at Night. 5 Minutes of Funk. It's just, well, you do the research, do the deep dive, dig in the crates, if you will. But anyway, so I thought it was interesting that this particular gentleman would be wearing a Houdini shirt, like the rap group. And not to judge and not to stereotype, but to stereotype. And I'm not judging, but just general stereotyping. The guy, he did not have the appearance of somebody who would be into that group. Like, maybe he would be into, I don't know, something more top 40 or more easy listening, or maybe country. He's a gentleman who would golf a lot. Like, there's a look. There, much like there would be a look for somebody who was wearing, I don't know, like a Dave Matthews t-shirt. There's a certain type of person that likes that music. And is it going to be somebody that would be wearing a cowboy hat? Not necessarily so. Is it going to be somebody who likes to wear black dress shoes? Maybe so, maybe no. But this gentleman did not have the appearance of somebody who would be into Houdini, like enough to buy the shirt. But hey, if he indeed is a Houdini fan, more power to him, and God bless him. Something else that I decided to do is, I got lost, and I ended up at the beach, and I hadn't been to the beach in a very, very, very long time. And each time I do go, I end up taking pictures as if I forget what the beach looks like, or it's like this awe-inspiring thing each time I go, which it is, but it's like I always will take pictures. I don't know what it is. It's something about just capturing that moment and saving it on my phone and being able to look at it whenever I can't make it to the beach. But you would think I could just save that picture and look at it every time, but no, I always take new pictures, and it was wonderful and glorious. And I was there at a perfect time of day. It wasn't too hot, even though it's very windy at the beach, but it was just perfect. It was great. People were cool. Everybody was out exercising. I made sure I kept my distance as much as possible and kept my mask on for sure, because there was way too many people that were not wearing them. But it was nice being outside, and it was nice kind of getting lost and just great soaking up some of that sea air. If you can get yourself near a body of water, do it, because it is therapeutic. So, I think I am going to bounce off and have a moment of zen and finish out my evening with that just by meditating. And I know that sounds very, very woo-woo, but I don't know. I'm kind of feeling that tonight. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Hopefully you picked up something. Hopefully it is not catching or contagious, whatever it is that you picked up from me. But I might not have dropped any big gems, but I at least gave you some suggestions on things to check out. I tried to stay off of the food thing this week because I was making a lot of people hungry by some of my food talk. But you know what? Maybe I'll pick up some of that next week because there were some foodie things that I came across, and yeah, I'll share those then. So thank you so much for listening, and thank you for hanging out for Maria's Golden Hour.